Welcome to Mind Set in Stone podcasts, where we dive deep into the most compelling books on the shelf. Join hosts Dave and Poppy as they uncover the stories, themes, and ideas that shape our understanding and inspire curiosity. Get ready to explore the big ideas that leave a lasting impact. Let's get started.
Have you ever had that relentless, nagging feeling of worry? That mental loop that just plays on repeat, keeping you up at night. Maybe replaying stuff that's already passed, or dreading what might be coming down the road.
Oh, absolutely. Or maybe it's that sort of underlying hum of stress, right? That buzz that just sticks to those high-pressure moments and refuses to let go.
It's such an incredibly common experience, isn't it? That internal monologue of what if, or if only I. It's something, well, most of us can definitely relate to.
Yeah, whether it's about some huge life decision or a tricky relationship or even just the daily grind of work and getting through things.
Our mission here is to give you a powerful shortcut, really, to understanding the profound, sometimes hidden impact of excessive worry.
And maybe even more importantly, to arm you with concrete, actionable strategies, real mindset shifts you can use to combat it head on.
Exactly. We're moving beyond just saying, yeah, worry exists. We want to equip you with practical tools, actual insights.
Right. The goal here is really to empower you so you can significantly cut down on stress, boost your overall well-being, and, find more genuine joy and fulfillment in your everyday life.
And all the insights we're about to unpack, they come directly from a really careful deep dive into Dale Carnegie's classic book, How to Stop Worrying and Start Living.
A truly timeless piece of work.
It is. We've distilled the core wisdom, looked at it through the eyes of experts to give you actionable steps, some really powerful stories, and maybe even some surprising facts that could fundamentally change how you approach anxiety and stress. Forever, maybe.
It's a book that's stuck around for a reason, definitely. Its core ideas, even though they're decades old, feel incredibly relevant, still so potent in our, fast-paced, often overwhelming world today.
So let's start unpacking this. The first big takeaway, maybe the most urgent point we need to make, is that excessive worrying, it isn't just a mental nuisance. It's not just a thought you can brush off.
No, it actively physically harms you. This isn't just psychological. It shows up in real, tangible ways in your body. It's definitely not just all in your head.
That's such a critical point. Even though we hear more about the mind-body connection now, it still gets overlooked in daily life, doesn't it?
Absolutely. We tend to sort of separate mental and physical health, but they're profoundly linked. You can't really separate them.
Even ancient thinkers knew this, right? Like Plato.
Exactly. Plato understood this intimate link, that what affects the mind inevitably affects the body. And modern medicine, it echoes this with some, frankly, alarming clarity.
Like the Mayo brothers. That statistic is pretty stark.
It really is. The renowned Mayo brothers famously declared that over half of the hospital beds they saw were filled by patients suffering from conditions directly tied to frustration, anxiety, worry, and despair.
Just think about that for a second. More than 50% admitted because of the physical toll of these negative emotional states.
It's staggering. It really puts into perspective how much that internal turmoil, that constant mental churn, can manifest physically. Real debilitating symptoms.
So what specific kinds of ailments are we talking about here? What do the source material highlight?
Well, the sources are quite clear. Chronic worry can contribute to, or really worsen, a whole range of conditions. It cites two leading causes directly linked to worry: ongoing marital problems and chronic financial stress. It suggests a direct link from that emotional stress to physical inflammation, actual pain in the joints.
That's incredible. What else?
Beyond that, there are medical cases suggesting links between excessive worry and increased likelihood of developing profound mental distress, what used to be called insanity, and even chronic conditions like diabetes.
So it underlines that worry isn't just an inconvenience, it's a measurable health risk.
A profound health risk, absolutely.
And it seems like high-pressure jobs are particular breeding grounds for this kind of thing. Which makes sense, right? Constant deadlines, demands, responsibility.
Totally. The correlation is stark. There's a direct, well-documented link. One study mentioned in the sources showed over a third of business executives suffer from heart disease, stomach ulcers, high blood pressure. And the comparison they use really drives it home.
You mean the one about doctors and farm workers?
Yeah. 20 times more doctors dying from heart failure compared to farm workers. 20 times.
That's an enormous difference. It really hammers home the point about occupational stress.
It does. It vividly shows the contrast between a job with intense intellectual and emotional pressure, life and death stuff for doctors, versus maybe a different kind of demanding labor, like farming.
Less acute emotional pressure, perhaps.
Maybe. And Dr. Alexis Carrel, the Nobel laureate, he nailed it with that powerful statement. Businessmen who do not know how to fight worry die young. It's about the direct, potentially fatal impact of unchecked worry over the long term.
So, okay, what does this all mean for you listening right now? It means tackling worry isn't just about feeling a bit better or calmer.
No, it's fundamentally a critical health issue. It's about proactive self-preservation.
It's about recognizing clearly that what goes on in your mind, the stories you let run, the stress you allow to fester, has a real, tangible, often damaging effect on your physical body.
Precisely. If you're in a high-stress job, or if worry feels like a constant companion, that's not just an inconvenience to ignore, it's a clear signal. Something needs to change.
It demands a shift in how we see worry, from just a feeling to a significant physiological threat needing attention.
Exactly. Proactive management.
Okay, that definitely raises the stakes. If worry is that dangerous, how do we even start to dismantle it? The sources suggest something interesting, that confusion is often the root cause.
That's a key insight from Herbert E. Hawks, who was the dean of Columbia College back in the day. He argued that confusion is the chief cause of worry. Why? Because when we're anxious, most of us don't stop to actually analyze the facts.
We just get caught in the emotional whirlwind.
Exactly. Catastrophic thinking takes over. But the empowering part is, he proposed a simple but really powerful three-step analysis. A method he believed could resolve almost any worry, no matter how scary it seems.
All right, let's break down this three-step analysis. It sounds foundational. What's step one?
Step one is simply get the facts. Seems almost obvious, right? But when you're drowning in worry, your mind jumps to conclusions, catastrophizes, works on half-truths. You're not grounded in reality.
Okay, get the facts. How does that look in practice? The example they give is pretty intense.
It is incredibly dramatic. Galen Litchfield, in Japanese-occupied Shanghai, 1942, he gets this terrifying news on a Sunday. Monday morning, he's going into a notorious torture chamber. Why? A Japanese admiral found out about some assets he'd hidden.
Oh my God, what did he do?
Well, he didn't just panic. He actually sat down at a typewriter and typed out exactly what he was worried about, being tortured to death, wrote it down. This act of clarifying the fear, making it concrete, that's the essential first step. It forces you to confront the vague fear with solid reality.
Okay, so once you have those brutal facts staring you in the face, what's step two?
Analyze those facts. After writing down his worst fear, Litchfield asked himself, okay, what can I do about this? And critically, he then listed all his options.
Even the crazy ones.
This immediately shifts you from being passive, a victim of worry, to being active, a problem solver. His options included seemingly impossible things like trying to flee, trying to explain himself, or just acting like nothing happened and going to work.
He didn't censor anything.
Nope. Laid them all out, examined each one objectively.
And then the final decisive step.
Step 3, make a decision and act. After getting the facts and analyzing the options, Litchfield made a truly courageous choice. His decision, the seemingly absurd one. Go to work Monday like nothing was wrong.
And what happened?
This is the amazing part. The Japanese admiral just scowled at him. That was it.
Okay, but here's where it gets really interesting and maybe tricky for a lot of us. Once you decide, the sources say, never look back.
Yes. This is such a common trap, that urge to second-guess yourself the minute you've made a choice, to replay everything.
Feels like being responsible, right? To keep checking.
It does feel like due diligence, maybe, but it can be incredibly damaging if your goal is to stop worrying. After you've done the hard work analyzing facts, choosing a path you must commit.
So no more analysis paralysis after the decision. Trust the process you went through.
Exactly. The sources are crystal clear. Once you decide, act decisively and consciously dismiss the anxiety about it. Don't stop, don't hesitate, don't reconsider, don't retrace your steps.
Why is that so strict?
Because even the tiniest bit of doubt or reevaluation can trigger what they call a chain reaction of doubts. And that unravels all the work you did. You end up right back at square one, stuck in that same loop of indecision and anxiety.
That makes so much sense. It's like you build a bridge carefully. Once it's done, you don't keep digging up the foundations to double check. You trust the work and move forward.
Perfectly put. Once you've chosen, based on facts and analysis, stick to it. Otherwise, you're just inviting the worry right back in.
Which leads us to a practical takeaway for everyone listening.
Right. Real life application 1, the decisive action rule. We really encourage you, try this yourself. Next time you face a big worry, go through the steps, get the facts, analyze, choose a path, then commit fully.
And consciously let the anxiety go.
Yes. Tell yourself, done my analysis, made my decision, now I act. That act of commitment itself is a powerful way to shut down worry.
Okay, moving on from decisiveness, another core strategy is about fostering a present-focused mindset. Living for today. They use this great phrase, day-tight compartments.
It's a fantastic concept because so much of our worry is tied up in either regretting the past or fretting about the future.
Totally. Things you can't change or things that haven't even happened.
Exactly. Worrying about yesterday's mistakes, unchangeable, or tomorrow's what-ifs, mostly out of our control right now, is just futile. Stephen Leacock, he described a child who's always putting off happiness. I'll be happy when I'm a big boy, then when I grow up.
Classic, I'll be happy when trap.
Right. And then he gets to retirement, looks back, and realizes his whole life just slipped by. He never actually experienced the happiness he kept postponing. It shows how pointless it is to always live for a future that never quite arrives if you're not grounded now.
So these day-tight compartments are like mental walls, keeping today separate.
Precisely. Like a ship has watertight compartments to stop it sinking if one part floods, you need day-tight compartments in your mind. It's a conscious way to limit your attention and energy to today.
Seal off the past and the future.
Seal off past rumination and future speculation from messing with your present. The rule is simple. Whatever happened yesterday, whatever might happen tomorrow, don't let it intrude on your focus and peace today.
But wait, this isn't about not planning for the future, right? Because planning is important.
Great point. Absolutely crucial distinction. Planning, preparing for the future, essential, productive, good stewardship, but worrying about it, letting anxiety about the unknown chew you up, that's unproductive, energy draining.
So the best preparation is doing your best today.
Exactly. The best way to prepare for tomorrow is to dedicate your full attention and effort to your life and work today. That's where your influence lies. That's the only time you can act.
There's a really powerful story in the sources about this, isn't there? A grieving widow.
Yes, her story is incredibly moving. She was near total despair, even suicidal. But she found solace and success by adopting a specific quote.
Which quote was that?
Every day is a new life to a wise man. She was so inspired, she started repeating it to herself every single morning when she woke up.
Just repeating that phrase.
Yeah. This seemingly simple act, consciously focusing on the present day as a fresh start, a blank slate, it ultimately led her not just to find peace, but also to achieve remarkable success and real happiness.
It's a testament to that idea. Yesterday's gone, tomorrow isn't here yet, today is all you've really got.
It really is, and this leads us straight to real-life application 2, the daily mental seal. We challenge you, try this. Consciously focus only on today's tasks, opportunities, interactions.
What a little ritual.
Yeah. Maybe at the start or end of your day, do a quick mental exercise, actively seal off yesterday's regrets and tomorrow's anxieties. Keep them outside your focus for today. Give today your full attention.
That's a really actionable tool. This next concept, it sounds almost completely counterintuitive, maybe even scary. Embracing the worst-case scenario.
It does sound counterintuitive, yeah, maybe like a recipe for more despair, but it's presented as this like magical 3-step way to calm even overwhelming worry by consciously facing the absolute worst outcome.
Okay, walk us through it. Step 1.
Step 1, define the worst. When you're consumed by a worry, money, health, relationship, whatever, force yourself to ask, what is the absolute worst thing that could possibly happen here?
And be specific.
Very specific. Define that worst-case scenario clearly, concretely. Lose your job, go bankrupt, end up in jail. Even in extreme cases, face death.
They give the example of Earl P. Haney, right?
Yeah.
The ulcers.
Yes. His story is incredible.
Yeah.
Doctors gave him this dire diagnosis, severe duodenal ulcers, told him he'd likely die very soon. His absolute worst. A slow, agonizing death. Truly terrifying.
Okay, that's about as bad as it gets. After you've stared that horror in the face, what's step 2?
Step 2, accept the worst. This is where the surprising calm comes in. For a moment, consciously assume the absolute worst will happen. Accept it. Paradoxically, once you genuinely accept it, let go of fighting it, you'll likely feel this sense of calm wash over you. You might even realize the worst case isn't quite as catastrophic as your anxious mind painted it, and you often recognize your own ability to bounce back.
And Haney did this, accepted dying.
Astonishingly, yes. He even bought a casket to ship his body back home. That's how complete his acceptance was.
Wow. Okay, then the final crucial step, the pivot.
Step 3. Improve from there. This is the critical turn. You dedicate your efforts not to preventing the worst you've just accepted, but to making that accepted worst-case scenario better, or transforming it.
So what did Haney do?
He made this extraordinary decision. If he was going to die anyway, he might as well enjoy his remaining time, right? So against his doctor's advice, he went on a defiant world tour.
With the casket.
With the casket in tow. Ate strange foods, drank cocktails, survived monsoons, sang songs, made friends. By the time he got home, he'd completely forgotten about his ulcer, which had incredibly disappeared.
No way.
Sold the casket back, never been ill a day since. His acceptance, plus proactive action to improve his remaining time, completely changed his physical reality. Mind-body connection right there.
That is truly remarkable. It really highlights the power of perspective, doesn't it? Like that quote.
2 men looked out from prison bars. One saw the mud, the other saw stars.
Exactly. It's about where you consciously choose to focus, what you choose to make of things, even in the bleakest situations. Finding agency even when things feel out of control.
Precisely. Which leads to real-life application 3, the worst-case workout. Next time you feel totally overwhelmed by a fear, try this exercise. Define the absolute worst. Write it down.
Then accept it.
Consciously accept it, just for a moment. Then, once that calm hits, and it often does, immediately pivot. Okay, now that I've accepted this, how can I improve from here? What small actions can I take now to make this accepted reality better?
It shifts you from fear to acceptance to action.
Powerful shift. From paralyzing fear to proactive improvement.
Okay, shifting gears slightly. Strategic energy management. Emotional resilience. This idea of applying a stop-loss order to worries and grudges. It sounds like something from Wall Street.
It's a brilliant analogy right from stock trading. A stop-loss order means you set a limit. If the stock price drops to a certain point, you automatically sell to prevent deeper losses. So apply that to emotions. Don't endlessly fret over negative experiences or let grudges fester forever. Set a limit. Decide, this is the maximum time, energy, or anguish I'm willing to lose on this issue, this worry, this resentment.
Drawing a line in the sand for our emotional investments. Protecting our internal resources.
Exactly. The source uses the stark example of Leo Tolstoy. Literary giant, right? But lived in what was called pure hell in his marriage for 50 years. Constant blame, mutual recrimination.
Why didn't he just stop?
That's the question. Why didn't he just say, enough? It shows how we cling to situations, grievances, people, long past their expiry date, incurring huge emotional costs, unable to disengage.
And it applies to grudges too, right? Carrying that weight.
Absolutely. It's just not sensible to keep spending your precious time and energy resenting someone, replaying injustices, holding on to anger. Abraham Lincoln apparently embodied this.
How so?
He said he never saw any benefit in quarreling, and famously forgave attackers immediately once they stopped. That ability to let go, to apply an emotional stop-loss to unproductive battles, it's a form of self-preservation.
Deciding when something has cost you enough and walking away.
Precisely. Valuing and protecting your emotional energy as a finite resource. Deciding some things just aren't worth the endless strain.
Which brings us to another practical application.
Yep. Real-life application 4. Implement an emotional stop-loss. Next time you have an unpleasant event, a nagging worry, a lingering grudge, if it's still consuming you, consciously walk away. Tell yourself, I've given this enough energy. Time to stop the loss. My well-being matters more than continuing this.
That sounds really liberating. Cutting those ties. Proactively relaxing before you get tired. This feels so counterintuitive in our push-till-you-drop culture.
It really does, but it's based on this fascinating insight. Mental work itself, pure thinking, doesn't actually tire the brain out in the way we assume. Scientists found that even after, 12 hours of intense mental activity, the brain's energy reserves are mostly fine. It's not the thinking itself that causes fatigue.
So what is causing the fatigue?
It's usually negative emotions, boredom, anxiety, feeling unappreciated, resentment. That's what drains us. And here's the crucial cycle. That fatigue then generates more worry, more negative emotions. So the key is to consciously rest and relax before you feel tired, because you literally cannot worry when you're truly relaxed. And regular proactive rest keeps you effective, clear-headed.
There's that amazing industrial engineering example, right?
Yeah.
Frederick Taylor, Bethlehem Steel.
Yes. Taylor, the father of scientific management, he wanted to increase how much steel workers could load. Heavy physical work. What did he do?
He made them rest more.
Counterintuitively, yes. He told the worker he was studying to rest 36 minutes out of every hour, much more than the others pushing themselves to exhaustion. The result,
He loaded way more steel.
almost 4 times as much. It's this incredible demonstration. Proactive, planned rest decreases worries and dramatically increases productivity.
That's such a profound lesson for today. It's not about working harder, but smarter, by building rest in, seeing it as productive time.
Totally. Which leads right to real-life application 5. Proactive energy recharge breaks. Don't wait until you're wiped out. Schedule short, intentional rests through your day.
Like 5 or 10 minutes every hour or so.
Exactly. Step away, stretch, look out the window, listen to music, just breathe deeply. These proactive breaks boost focus, creativity, productivity, and reduce stress and worry.
Okay, next up, building a positive inner world, which then shapes our outer experience. Starting with thinking and acting your way to happiness. Sounds simple, maybe a bit naive.
It might sound like something your grandma told you, but there's real psychological weight behind it. William James, the pioneering psychologist, said while emotions obviously influence thoughts and actions, the reverse is also true.
Our actions and thoughts can influence our emotions.
Indirectly, yes, which is incredibly powerful. It gives us agency. We're not just passive victims of our feelings. We can actively shape them.
So if I'm feeling down, I can literally act happy, and that actually does something.
That's the act happy method, essentially. Feeling gloomy. Consciously put a big grin on your face, whistle a cheerful tune. The source says you'll find it impossible to stay blue while acting cheerful. It's like behavioral activation. It can shift your internal state.
And it's not just actions, but thoughts, too.
Absolutely. Just intentionally cultivating happier thoughts. Marcus Aurelius, the Stoic emperor, said it perfectly. Our life is what our thoughts make it.
A timeless truth. If you consciously choose happy thoughts, you're more likely to feel happy.
Exactly. There's that great story about the woman who hated the Mojave Desert. Her husband was stationed there. She found everything miserable, the heat, the sand, the locals.
Understandable, maybe.
But then her wise father told her, consciously focus on finding the positives. Seek out beauty, interest. So she did.
Found beauty in the Joshua trees, the sunsets, fascination in the native people. Her whole experience transformed, not because the desert changed, but because her thoughts about it did.
It really shows how much perception shapes reality. We have more control than we think.
Which brings us to real-life application 6, the positive reframe challenge. Next time you're in a tough situation, consciously try to find 3 positives, or 3 learnings, or 3 things to be grateful for within it.
Or just try the act happy thing.
Or if you're just feeling low, try acting happy for a few minutes, smile, play upbeat music. Notice how these small shifts can impact your emotional state. Exercise that mental muscle of choosing your focus.
Most people, when they do a kindness, subconsciously expect thanks, appreciation, maybe something back.
But people aren't always grateful.
Human nature often leans towards thoughtlessness, oversight, sometimes outright ingratitude. And you just can't change that fundamental aspect in others. So if you operate expecting gratitude, you're setting yourself up for disappointment.
And that lawyer story is pretty stark. Samuel Leibowitz.
Legendary lawyer. Saved 78 people from the electric chair. 78. Guess how many thanked him?
Let me guess.
0. The liberating takeaway is, true, deep joy comes from the act of giving itself, the intrinsic pleasure of contributing, regardless of external acknowledgement. When you give for the joy of it, you remove the potential for disappointment from unmet expectations.
Makes sense. It also mentions that gratitude needs to be taught to kids.
Briefly, yeah. It's not innate, it has to be cultivated. If kids seem ungrateful, it might reflect how they've been taught or not taught.
Okay, moving on to embracing your uniqueness. Self-acceptance. That statistic is mind-blowing. 1 in 300,000 billion chance of being genetically unique.
Astronomical. It really underlines your singularity, yet so many of us spend our lives wishing we were someone else, thinking the grass is greener over there.
Convinced someone else's life or talents are better.
But the source is clear. Living like that, constantly comparing, yearning to be someone you're not, utterly pointless, far better, far more productive to embrace your uniqueness, get comfortable with who you actually are.
And there's a psychological risk in not accepting yourself.
A very real risk. Refusing to embrace yourself can trigger psychological issues, deep misery. Honestly, no one's as miserable as someone constantly trying to be someone else.
William James said people who haven't found themselves only use about 10% of their potential.
An enormous waste. Spending your energy trying to fit a role that isn't yours. Edith Allred's story really shows this struggle.
She felt like a failure compared to her in-laws. was suicidal.
Yeah, plagued by nervousness. Her turning point was a comment from her mother-in-law, who said she always taught her kids to always be themselves no matter what.
That simple phrase changed things.
It sparked something. Aldridge shifted focus. Instead of trying to be like others, she started thinking about who she was, her unique qualities, how she could use them. And that shift led her to find real happiness and confidence just by embracing her own identity.
What a transformation. Okay, staying on self-worth, the idea that criticism can be a disguised compliment. This really flips how we usually see negative feedback.
It absolutely does. A liberating perspective. Why do public figures get so much nasty criticism? The source says, many people get a weird satisfaction, a sense of importance from tearing down those who are more accomplished or admired. Belittling people they envy makes the critic feel bigger by comparison.
So it's about them, not really you. A projection.
Exactly. Like that spiteful letter attacking William Booth, founder of the Salvation Army, calling him a fraud. The writer got pleasure from trying to smear someone influential.
So the takeaway is?
The takeaway is in that old saying, no one kicks a dead dog. If you're being criticized, attacked, it often means you're doing something noteworthy, impactful, something alive.
So if you're getting flack, it means you're making waves.
Pretty much. The more criticism, the more influential or important you probably are. So next time it happens, especially if it feels personal or over the top, try to take it as a weird compliment. It means you're not a dead dog.
Okay, finally, let's bring this all back to work life. A huge source of worry for many people. Finding joy and order there.
Absolutely true. Few things cause more misery than dragging yourself to a job you despise day after day. Conversely, success and satisfaction often depend on genuinely enjoying, or at least being engaged in, what you do.
Like Thomas Edison. Never worked a day in my life. It was all fun.
That's the ideal. He worked insane hours, changed industries, but saw it as fun.
So choosing work you love is key, even if there's pressure to do something else. Like Phil Johnson.
Perfect example. Dad owned a laundromat, wanted Phil to take over. Phil hated laundry, loved machines, became a mechanic instead. Dad was shocked, but Phil was happy.
And that passion led him
to eventually become president of Boeing. Following his genuine interest propelled him. Shows the power of finding joy in your craft.
But what if you're stuck in a job you don't love right now? How do you make that less worry-inducing?
One incredibly powerful way, no matter the job, stay organized. An unorganized desk, piles of mail, memos, papers, is a breeding ground for worry.
Just the visual clutter creates stress.
Constant visual reminder of unfinished tasks creates mental clutter, overwhelm, anxiety. The sheer volume weighs on you.
And that Chicago executive story illustrates this.
Yes, he was so stressed he saw a doctor. During the visit, he noticed the doctor dealt with minor interruptions immediately, didn't put them off.
The deal with it now principle.
Exactly. The executive tried it at his own work, started tackling small tasks as they arose, stopped them piling up. Within 6 weeks, he felt significant relief from his worry. Just dealing with things immediately reduced his mental load.
It sounds almost too simple. The immediate action principle.
Deceptively simple, which leads to our final practical application, real-life application 7, the immediate action principle for tasks. Challenge yourself. Tackle small things as they come up. Prevent accumulation. Stop them becoming bigger worries. Answer that quick email now. Make that small decision now. File that paper now. It reduces mental load, cuts procrastination stress, and stops that overwhelm worry.
We have really covered a huge amount today. This deep dive into stopping worry and starting living. It makes it so clear worry isn't just inconvenient, it's genuinely bad for your health, physical and mental.
It truly is. But the amazing news is we've unpacked some really actionable, empowering strategies to tackle it. Right from getting the facts, deciding firmly, and never looking back.
To living in those day-tight compartments, fiercely protecting the present moment.
And facing the worst-case scenario, scary, but liberating. Plus, applying those stop-loss orders to worries and grudges, protecting our precious emotional energy.
And remembering to rest before getting tired, breaking that fatigue-worry cycle, thinking and acting your way to happiness, seeking the positive.
And the selfless joy of giving without expectation, embracing your unique self instead of envying others, even seeing criticism as that weird compliment.
And finally, finding more joy and order in work to cut down daily stress. These aren't just theories, they're practical shifts, actionable behaviors, vital mindsets.
They can fundamentally reshape your experience of life.
Now, transformation takes effort, right? Consistent practice. It's not magic. But we challenge you, listening now, pick just one or two of these strategies, whichever resonated most. and commit to implementing them this week.
Don't try to overhaul everything at once. Just pick one or two. Start there.
And here's a final thought for you to consider as you go about your day. A question to guide your action.
What stop-loss order will you courageously place on a lingering worry, a persistent grudge, or a draining situation starting today? Or which day-tight compartment will you most fiercely protect, ensuring yesterday's regrets and tomorrow's fears don't spoil the peace and potential of your present moment?
By consciously applying even one or two of these powerful principles, you're not just stopping worry. You are actively, deliberately creating a life with more peace, more productivity, and genuine, deep happiness. You have the tools. You can live more fully, more vibrantly, more freely, starting right now.
We hope you're leaving with fresh insights and a spark of inspiration. Remember to subscribe, leave a review, and check back for more episodes as we dive into new worlds of thought, one book at a time. Until then, keep your mind set in stone and your curiosity open. This has been a Big L Riz Media podcast, where big ideas meet lasting impressions.